The first wave of feminism in America gave the women the right to vote. The second wave of feminism resulted in the Equal Pay Act of 1963 and gave the women the right to work. The third wave of feminism was used as a tool by people to justify their acts, neglecting the real issues of women in our society. So, what is feminism? It can be defined as the belief in social, economic, and political equality of the sexes. It comes from the word feminine, which means being a woman. The idea on the outside seems pretty reasonable. So, where's the problem? Let's look at the narratives raised by the feminists in the 21st century. Number one, the idea that men and women aren't paid equally. A report in 2019 suggests that for every man earning 100 rupees, a woman earns 81 rupees. The 19 rupee gap is the average earnings of all the men minus the average earnings of all the women. However, it does not take into account one's occupation, position, education, or experience. The higher paying jobs, such as the STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, has a higher number of men, which results in men earning more than women. To understand this further, we shall have a look at the medical industry. The higher paid doctors, such as cardiologists, surgeons, anesthesiologists, have 97.2% men, while the lower paid doctors, such as pediatricians and gynecologists, have 72 to 85% women. It is not disparity, it is economics. The one who brings in more money earns more money. Let us for once assume that women are paid lesser than men. Shouldn't employers be hiring more number of women since they charge lesser amount of money? That is clearly not the case with doctors, where there are 38% women opposing to 62% men. The gender pay gap is a myth. The second issue is regarding social acceptance. It is the idea that men and women should be treated in the same manner. Again, even though it sounds pretty reasonable, it is mostly taken into account for wrong behavior, such as smoking, drinking, having multiple sexual partners, etc. People say that if these things are socially acceptable for men, then why not for women? How is something of this nature empowering to anybody? The third issue is that of gender parity, the idea that men and women are equal. Here's a scientific fact: men and women are different. Obviously, their bodies are different, their hormones are different, their chromosomes are different, and also their brains are different. The inferior parietal lobule of the brain is larger in men, which gives them an advantage in mathematical ability, explaining why more number of men choose STEM fields. The gray matter in the brain is higher in case of women, which explains why they are more emotional. Men have stronger connections, front and back, in the brain, which is responsible for the motor skills such as athleticism, running, balancing, etc., while women have stronger connections side to side, which is responsible for intuitive thinking, verbal ability, reading, and comprehension. The serotonin, which is responsible for happiness, is lesser in women, which makes them more vulnerable to depression. The amygdala cells are larger in men, which explains why men tend to be more aggressive than women. The differences in the brain is the reason why more number of men choose STEM fields and more number of women choose literature, social science, and arts related fields. Feminism failed to identify that the reason for their different choices was inheritance, not oppression. The fourth idea is of freedom of choice without any boundaries. The narrative that a woman can choose anything she wants, and that is empowerment. Here is another fact: you cannot always choose what you want. Can a 20-year-old boy choose to be a 5-year-old child? Can you justify theft, murder, robbery, rape under the pretext that the criminal chooses to do so? No, because it is immoral. In 2015, Vogue India released a video called My Choice, where it justified acts such as cheating in marriage, to have no regard for your partner's opinions, and various other acts under freedom of choice. Celebrities have constantly defended item songs, which mostly result in blatant objectification of women. These acts are clearly immoral, and justifying these acts is, on the contrary, derogatory to women. So, what is women empowerment? It is the idea that women should have the same rights as men: equal access to education, equal access to healthcare, equal access to work, political representation, etc. In Yemen, only 55% of women are considered literate, as compared to 85% men. Around 52% of women are married off before the age of 18. In Honduras, a woman is murdered every 18 hours for merely $60. There are millions of cases of violence against women in countries such as Congo, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, India, and various others. Liberia recently declared a national emergency over the growing amount of rapes in the country. Why aren't modern day feminists vocal about these issues? Because talking about it is of no use to them. It doesn't get them the fame or popularity they seek. It doesn't promote their upcoming film or music. Do we need women empowerment? Absolutely. But feminism is not the way to go, since it talks about issues that are non existent, which only serves their agenda. If we want women to be empowered, we need to speak about the real issues, which brings real change in the society. Modern day feminism has failed to do so, which is why we do not need it.